Hey, family Tacc, man, how's your spirit? Talk to me. Tell me something good. Um, we're doing help today. Okay. Yeah. We're doing helping today. We on heal, but we're just doing helping. And we're gonna go, back and forth with uh with all three. Oh, well, all what 7, 8. Because I gotta get my glasses. Okay. Prepare to go for. Let me get my glasses. Ah, and I'm cooking. I'm gonna be moving around a little bit. So I'm cooking. I got a nice T-bone steak, man. I've been dying for a T-bone for the longest, but I went and took care of my business today. Matter of fact, let me check on it first. Mm, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me 1 minute, you guys. Let me take care of my meal, and I'll be with you guys in 1 minute. Mm-hmm. Hey, family. Okay, I got somebody on there. I'll be right with you. I'm right here. Tending to my meal. I just got through praying. Got to give God his so he can give you yours. But Excuse me. Here I come, guys. Be right there. Oh, I want to share my meal with you guys tonight. Steak, potatoes, and onions. I haven't had a T-bone since I've been home. I've been wanting one, but it seems like a lot of this meat ain't real. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna make the best of a bad situation right now. Eat a little bit, then I'm gonna get with you guys. 1 second. Let's take this as in and seeing how I live. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put my meal down for you guys. Some ginseng tea with ginger and mabi. Oh man, my first experience with mabi was in Bermuda when I was young, and then other islands. You know, mabi is a quiet taste. But why we talking about helping today is because if any of us, once we start on the road to heal, that's the next thing that you start to do, help others. So let's get into it. Why helping comes first in heal. H is helping before acceptance, appreciate, achieve. Helping breaks isolation. With help, the other three A's lack a container. Thesis: helping, when done right, is not fixing, it's releasing someone's own ability to heal. And helping, it not only helps the person, but it helps you to build character, intestinal fortitude. And why I always harp on it has to be genuine, because nothing's going to work if it's not genuine. You know, I was watching something today, and the guy was saying, just take a job. Matter of fact, it was LL Cool J. Take any job and overwork it, because if they don't appreciate you, somebody will. You know, it's just like when I got my diploma in Science Says Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill Foundation. They said always go the extra mile and work as if you love the job, even if you don't, because somebody's always watching and somebody will help you. Excuse me 1 second. What helping does? 8 core functions. Let me run it down. Alhamdulillah. 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 Oh my God. Mm. Um, I'm gonna break it down to you. One, reduces threat response. Being helped lowers cortisol, activates parasympathetic nerve system. What it means is like you let your guard down. When someone helps you, you're not afraid. You know that they come in peace. You can't accept love or achieve growth when you feel alone in danger. Just back to what I'm saying. If you take it as a threat, then you're going to be afraid. But if someone is helping you, you're not going to uh, look at them as a threat. Two, provides perspective without shame. Helper, mirror back what they see, not judgment. Help someone see their own blind spots in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which means when you're helping someone, you're revealing their shortcomings, and hopefully they can learn from it so that they can help themselves, later on down the road. That's why I tell you, once you go through the process, it's about everybody helping each other, and when you help each other, man, we can do nothing but win. 3, builds trust, interpret and interdependence, counteracts hyper independent, often a trauma response. Meaning, like, when you're going through something, and someone comes, you don't know what they're trying to do, but once they help, that calms a lot of stuff down. That's why I said counteracts hyper independence. Help says you are not a burden. You know, you can't make a person feel like you're burdened by helping them. That throws everything off. But when you are able to, like, look, no, don't worry, it's okay. You know, and especially if you give them something from God, that cools them down most of the time too. 4, activates reciprocal healing. Helper also heals. Sense of purpose, reduce loneliness. Like I tell you, when you help someone else, you're helping yourself as well to build intestinal fortitude and character. We're on this earth to help each other, and a lot of people don't understand that. Neuroscience, giving help activates reward circuits similar to receiving it. So it's reciprocal, back and forth. Clarifies what help is actually needed. Many people don't know. Do I need emotional presence, information, practical aid, accountability? Good helping asks, what would help right now? Not let me solve this. 6, practices consent in real time. Helping checks, is this still helpful? Is this still helpful? Like I tell you, I got I'm dyslexic, so, and my eyes is going. I'm getting old. Uh, this models healthy boundaries for receiver. 7, accelerates learning, knowledge, wisdom transfers happens faster in helping relationships. Understanding deepens when someone helps you reframe your story. 8, creates safety for vulnerable. Once helped safely, people risk asking earlier next time. That's growth. Let me say that again. Once helped safely, people risk asking earlier next time. Okay, they risk asking earlier next time. That's growth. Okay, I get it. But my thing is this right here. With Tacc, where adversity come change. 5 principles, 3 articles, 1 healer. And this is This is my book. It's on Amazon. Through adversity comes change. And like I said, it's five principles, three articles, one healer. And the healer has three A's instead of one. Of course, it's helping everyone accept, achieve, and appreciate love. And the only way that you can do that is you have to be healed yourself. I mean, you can help little, but to really help people to heal, that means you have to have gone through that process. And like I tell you, 6 years I went through this process. And like I said, I'm intelligent, but I don't think I'm that smart to put something together that one after another coincides to help you to heal. And then you can go mix and match and back and forth with the five principles, three articles, the healer, and it all works because it's about growth. It's about healing, you know. And a lot of times, like I always say, we get comfortable with being uncomfortable. We must learn to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable so that we can be comfortable with being comfortable one day. Critical rule: help only people who want help. That's what I tell you. If a person doesn't want it, it doesn't make sense in wasting your time. It doesn't. It really doesn't, because they're gonna keep doing what they're gonna do. So it's just like spilled milk. I don't waste my time crying over spilled milk. I just clean it up and get some more milk. That energy that you use can be used for something positive. So that's why I don't trip like that. Why this is not negotiable. Let me read the first part first. Help only people who want help. Why this is not negotiable. Helping someone who doesn't want it, control, not healing. It increases resistance, shame, and dependency. It burns out the helper and harms the relationship. Like I said, if they don't want it, you're frustrating yourself. You're using energy that you could utilize for doing something else. How to know they want help? They ask directly. People who want help, they're gonna ask. It's like when I was years ago, I was getting high, and I'm not afraid to shame to say it. You know, I've used all kind of drugs. I'm not proud of it, but I'm glad I went through it, so I understand now. Me and my buddy was talking about today about if God would have just let us keep getting money like we was getting when we was young and not going to jail. But right now, I'd have been going through the trials and tribulations with a lot of money. So that have made me kill myself. That's what I said. You can't live your life backwards. You must live your life forward so you can get the lessons and the blessings. If God makes everything easy for you, how you going to deal with the hard times? You know, and just like a lot of people, they have their life easy, 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 and as soon as hard times come, they freak out. And these are the things that uh people who don't want help, don't know how to ask for help. These is how they act. So you must go through life forward, and take your bumps and bruises, but keep getting up. They ask directly, or they say, "I don't know what to do." That's an implicit invitation. Or they accept small offer. Can I sit with you for 5 minutes? Things like this screams that a person wants help. They want to be taught, and if you're not healed, you're not going to see these signs. Now I'm gonna give you the red flags to pause helping. I don't need help. Leave me alone. They repeatedly reject every suggestion but won't say what they want. They want you to do it for them without their participation. That's what I said. This is people who don't want help, Once you've healed and understand, and inshallah, you've got peace in your life. You no longer want drama in your life. So when you see people like that, and it's like, they're telling you, I don't want no help, and leave me alone. Like, you leave them alone. Of course, they have to figure it out on their own what to do instead. Say, I trust you to know when you're ready. I'm here. And you leave the door open. You know, you don't shut them out. You leave the door open. That's still helping by respecting autonomy. Autonomy, yeah. Giving them their time, their space. You know, how helping leads to collective growth. When one person is helped well, they help others later. Ripple effect. And this is what I tell you. Once you go through this process and you start to healing, once you get to understanding, once you get past knowledge and wisdom and you get to understanding, you're going to be able to help others because it's just going to come natural because the blessing that you got from going through this process, and hopefully you'll be able to help people before they crash and burn so they don't have to go down that road. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it happens. A group that helps strategically, not chaotically, builds, positive, not like this administration. Shared vocabulary, what would help? Faster recovery from setbacks, less hidden suffering. Helping together means what? I help you, you heal something in you. You help me see my blind spots, I heal further. See, it's a give and take, you know, no linear, no spiral. Example, in a community, if everyone practices helping, those who ask, the whole group wisdom, knowledge, and understanding compounds. You see, like they used to say back in the day, it takes a village. It still takes a village. And the thing that you have to understand is that when we help each other, we grow. We learn when we help each other. Like I tell you, I was doing martial arts when I was in. A guy trained me, and then I started training a guy. But this guy's notes was so good that I was learning more of my skills off of his notes than I was teaching him, and he never knew that. I was learning more. I was training him with stuff I knew, but I was learning even more stuff just reading his notes. And his handwriting was atrocious, but I could still decipher what he was saying. And like I said, this guy was kind of autistic, so he looked at everything from all different aspects. You know, so you never know who can help you. Practical application and group discussion. This is what I will be doing when I get a bunch of you guys on, whereas we can really converse. You know, when did someone help you exactly when you wanted it, not before? What changed? When did you try to help someone who didn't want it? What happened? What's one way our group, team, family could make asking for help normal, not weak? These are things that I'll be asking you guys. In the future. So my thing is like, we have to really come together and help each other. That's the only way we're gonna make it. I'm gonna read some of the end of the book. The becoming. Rebirth is not the end, it's evidence. Proof that through adversity comes change. You stand taller, you speak softer, you forgive quicker, you look at the world and realize everything that you lost gave birth to who you are. And when people ask how you made it, you smile and say, through God, through growth, through grace. And that's the honest to God truth. You know? And my thing is, right, it feels so much better to help people than to be helped. You know, like I always tell people, I'd rather be this hand than this hand. You know, and these are the blessings that I've had throughout my life, and I thank God for it because with me being a free spirit, man, that's something that I love doing, helping. You know, all even when I was doing wrong, I did. You know, I help people. You know, and until you're able to humble yourself, you know, it's going to be a different tune that you're going to dance to. But just know that, man. You know, helping is wealth for your spirit. You know, and you may not understand it, but in time you will. Trust and believe that it's about us helping. You know, and it's the people who want help. You know, you can't help somebody who don't want help. But I'm finna eat my steak. I just wanted to get on here and give y'all something for the night. Uh, think about what I said. You know, and may God soften your heart. Peace. Tack man out. Get your spirit right.